Coming up next on the Couch Brotato Podcast, Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones star in The Fugitive.
All right, listen up. We have The Fugitive that's been on the run for 90 minutes. What I want out of each and every one of you is a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, hen house, outhouse, or dog house in this area. Put that gun down! I didn't kill my wife!
Harrison Ford is The Fugitive. Rated PG-13.
Opens August 6th. Call 777 Film for advance tickets.
Okay. Hey, everybody. How's it going? This is Russ, and this is the Couch Brotato Podcast. With me always is Lucas. Lucas, what's happening, man?
Not much. I'm here. I am present, and I'm ready to talk.
All right. That's the key components. Like, as long as you're here and you speak, I think we're good.
I will do my best.
Because I've tried the solo stuff. Doesn't work for me, man. Like, I even put the cardboard Chewbacca up.
That's amazing.
It doesn't work.
Did you guys have like a real in-depth heart-to-heart?
Well, when I was trying to do that Die Hard episode, like, I seriously, like, fuck, I need to talk to something. So I grabbed a cardboard cutout of Chewbacca that I've got in my garage.
Oh,
and I sat it in
awesome.
where I record, and I tried to talk to it. And, like, it wasn't even saying anything back. I'm like, well, this fucking sucks.
Wasn't even speaking Chewbaccan or
No.
whatever the language is. I'm sure Mark Dyer's gonna be like, actually, what it is.
He's gonna like write us a nasty review now because you're making fun of him.
They're our first non-5-star review.
Yeah, that Lucas guy's a fucking dick.
That is correct.
It's just that's all it's gonna say.
And then at the end, is it safe?
Yeah. Well, we did put a poll question up a few weeks ago asking you guys to select this episode, and I was actually surprised by how many votes we got, but we had a tie between the movie we're doing first, The Fugitive, and Bloodsport, which will be coming very, very soon, and Under Siege was like one vote from making this a three-way.
Daddy.
Yeah, I know how you like your three-ways. And nobody gave a fuck about The Italian Job, so I don't even know if we're going to do that one anytime soon.
Fuck that movie, apparently.
Yeah, it's like Edward Norton's got a mustache. I don't understand why at least one person didn't vote for it. I almost wanted to, like, I should vote for The Italian Job just so it makes it look like I at least know kind of what I'm doing.
Well, I don't know. Like, I've seen the other movies more than The Italian Job too, so I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just not as good as these other ones or fun as these other ones, we'll say.
Yeah, I think what made me think of that one is I read an article. No, a coworker had he had a Family Feud movie game that he got for Christmas, and he was reading off the most epic car chase scenes, and like this one, the one for The Italian Job was like number 5 or 6 on the list, but like the French Connection was below it, which blew my mind. But
I'll take your word for it.
French Connection has an awesome car chase scene, and Ronin wasn't even on the list. Ronin has a car chase scene where De Niro looks like he's going to shit his pants in the car. Like, that's how intense this car chase sequence is.
Maybe he did shit his pants in the car, and that made it even more intense.
If I was in that car, the way that car was like hitting these curves, like I probably would have too.
Sometimes you just got to shit your pants driving.
Yeah, it's just like it's almost like euphoric. Like, all right, I did it once. I just did it. It's done, over with. Let's move on. Well, I guess we'll get kicked off on our episode here. When did you first see The Fugitive?
What year did this come out?
1993, which we'll get to the tail of the tape in a minute.
So probably 94. I think I saw it on HBO for the first time. I was really young.
I forgot I've got a few years on you.
Yeah. So I believe I probably saw it in 94.
I know around this time frame, it was probably 92 to about 99, I had a friend named Jeff, and him and I used to go to the movies pretty much every weekend. And then around this time was when we started taking an interest in girls. And really the best two places where we lived to meet girls was the movie theater or the mall. So we would typically go to the movies. My buddy was a lot better with the ladies than I was, but I think I seen this like 3 times in the theaters, and I think the first time was, he was kind of trying to get he's like, I got to hook up with somebody. So
hey, let's go check out this movie. I'm gonna mac on these hoes.
Well, I know when they showed the trailers, I know I wasn't that this looks like it might be okay, but I'm not really feeling it. And I think he just went see if he could score. So we went and seen The Fugitive, and I was like, fuck this. After it was over, fuck, this was awesome. So
one of those is it one of those ones like we had with Battle Los Angeles?
Yeah.
You go into it, you're like, this might be bad or it might, be okay. And then you're like, holy fuck, that was the shit.
Yeah, it was. The trailers didn't really, it looked like a kind of a very generic paint by numbers action movie. And
yeah.
I was like, maybe, but I wasn't amped to go see it, with it being a summer movie too. And I think we went and seen it 2 more times under the premise we'll go see The Fugitive again. And if, we meet somebody, we meet somebody.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'll have a ton of stories when we, usually if we do anything in that time frame, it's usually I seen it first with my friend Jeff. So, I think this was around Go ahead.
I was going to say, we all have that friend we all, go to the movies with, I think. At least that's the movie buffs.
Right. Actually, I was just talking to him recently. I was, while you were out sick, I was making a bunch of references to Nicolas Cage's 8mm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think him and I went and seen that, and I think him and I get the same enjoyment out of that. That movie is fucking dark. But it's it's got some really bad elements to it that are almost laughable. So I think Bring me machine. So I think if we ever do 8mm, I'm going to have him come on here and do that with us.
Sounds good.
This is kind of an interesting movie too. Harrison Ford was kind of for years, Harrison Ford was one of the biggest movie stars in the world. I mean, he was the guy that could open a movie. And I think towards this time frame is when he was starting to come down the mountain. He was still kind of a bankable name, but he wasn't the first choice for a lot of roles.
Yeah.
We'll get into this a little bit later in the research, but yeah, he wasn't even the first choice to play Richard Kimble. I dare say this is probably the last great Harrison Ford movie. I mean, I know he did Air Force One, which is a really entertaining flick, but I don't hold that in the same regard as this movie. I mean, what do you think?
No, probably not. I mean, it's a whole different type of thing. I think Air Force One is meant to be more cheesy, and this movie is meant to be what could happen to the common man at any point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
trying to take down a big $7 billion corporation.
Mm-hmm. Devlin McGregor. After this, he kind of mixed in some real shit. He had Random Hearts, What Lies Beneath, which I actually liked when it came out, but I've seen it again recently and just not a big fan of it. He had Air Force One, then like many actors do, he kind of has a string of flops, and then eventually he's going to go back to the roles that made him a star, which he eventually reprised Han, and then he did Indiana Jones 4, then he did Han Solo. So,
which he didn't he hates Han Solo, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he wanted to kill Han Solo off in Empire Strikes Back, which kind of makes sense if you look at it in the grand scheme of things. Because he really didn't have a lot to do in Return of the Jedi. Now, as Harrison Ford's career is actually kind of going on a decline, his co-star, Tommy Lee Jones, actually, this movie kind of makes him an A-list star. He was kind of more of a like a supporting player in movies. I know he did like The Coal Miner's Daughter. He was actually right before this. He was the villain in Under Siege.
But that is a movie that will be happening in a future podcast.
Yeah, I think when we set out our schedule, we're gonna do almost the 3 movies that got votes back to back to back. The director of this actually did Under Siege, so we're not going to do that one quite so soon. But
yeah, I mean, it'd be a little weird to start. It's almost like we're jumping on the bandwagon of somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't want to make this the Andrew Davis podcast because really, like after this, Under Siege, Out for Justice, and Chain Reaction, there's really not a lot to go off of.
That was quite a list after. I figured you were going to say like 1 or 2 after this. You rattled off like 5 or 6.
I know those 4. He was kind of an action director. But yeah, Tommy Lee Jones kind of, after he wins the Oscar for this, he goes on a pretty good role. He did Batman Forever. He was in Cobb. He did Men in Black, Volcano. I know I rattled a few off to you yesterday, but I mean, just Men in Black alone, like it kind of puts him as an A-lister. Oh, he did The Client too. He did The Client right after this. He was the star in that. And
that's one of my favorite movies.
That is a good movie. But yeah, like he becomes an A-list star after this, and he carried that into the mid 2000s. Now he's kind of reverted back to, we need a bit player, so let's see if we can get Tommy Lee Jones. But yeah, Tommy Lee was on a hell of a run for a while.
What the hell has he even been in recently?
The last thing I can remember him in was the Jason Bourne movie. The 5th Bourne movie that I really don't find to be very good. He was the villain in that. Yeah, you're not missing much. I mean, the Bourne Legacy, the 4th one, is actually, I think, kind of underrated, but it's not on par with the other 3. And yeah, the 5th one's just okay. Greengrass and Damon needed a check.
Well, I mean, our history with 5th movies: Rocky 5, Die Hard 5, and then Jason Bourne 5.
Jason Bourne is not as bad as Rocky 5. I still don't acknowledge its good existence.
That movie fucking sucks.
Yeah, that movie doesn't count. That's in some other alternate. I think when Thanos did the snap, it wiped Rocky 5 from existence, and I just happen to remember it somehow.
Well, I would really like it to happen that way, to be honest with you, because that movie's terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, Tommy Lee Jones was he kind of made a name for himself after this. Well deserved. I mean, he's fucking awesome in this movie.
Yes, he is. He's really good. He's kind of like a cocky dick, so it's funny because Tommy Lee Jones doesn't really strike me as normally a cocky dick, but he really was in this movie.
Yeah, when we get into a few of the categories, like best quote, like to me, there's only one, but I think I added a couple nominees just because like they're really funny, and every time I see this movie, I still kind of laugh about them. This also, when this came out too, there was kind of a trend in Hollywood where they were taking old television shows and turning them into movies. They had done the Brady Bunch, which kind of started the whole thing off, and then they made Car 54, Where Are You? Mission Impossible, which actually I was shocked that you didn't know was a TV show.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was shocked when you said that.
Yeah, it came. Mission Impossible was a few years after this. What else did they do? The Honeymooners. They made a Honeymooners movie. I mean, they did some really bad ones, but they've gotten better.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about like where would you rank The Fugitive amongst like the best TV shows based on or movies based on TV shows?
Well, I mean, it's got to be up there. Although I really like the Mission Impossible series, especially 3 on.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Equalizer. The with Denzel Washington is awesome. But I guess The Fugitive would have to be number one, right?
Like I would say the Mission Impossible, like you said, three going forward, but especially 4, 5, and 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are the best ones in the series.
Like we went and seen what, 2 of those together in the movies.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I don't know, like I would say Mission Impossible would be like that series would be 1. 2 would be The Fugitive. I would put number 3. I really like the Jump Street movies. I think.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about those.
I think they did probably made those the best they could. They kind of tongue in cheek, just kind of spoofed them a little bit. There was a movie back in 1987. They Dragnet. They did it with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that movie. That's one of those ones that whenever it's on TV, I'll watch it. And then Maverick, the Mel Gibson Western. That was also a TV show. I really like that one too.
I don't know. I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's still Mel Gibson when he was doing a really good job of hiding the fact he was a piece of shit.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. It kind of showed off what made Mel Gibson a star. Like, he's just kind of charming. Doesn't take himself too seriously.
Charming but intense.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of Mel Gibson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe just a touch unhinged.
Yeah, and also a giant pile of dog shit.
Right, he is. Well, I guess you ready to kick off these categories?
Well, did we do the tail of the tape?
Well, no, I'm getting ready to do that now. That's the first one on my list.
First category.
That's
okay.
what we always do is the tail of the tape.
I don't know. We've just been talking shit this whole time, so
yeah,
I like it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like it, but I got a little lost there. I didn't know if I couldn't remember if we did tail of the tape or not.
Yeah, we always begin with the tail of the tape, and then I don't know. We're still a work in progress with the rest of this stuff, but okay, tail of the tape. The Fugitive was released on August the 6th, 1993. It was directed by Andrew Davis, which we already established. I think we nixed the fact we're going to do the Andrew Davis podcast because it'd only be 5 episodes.
Yeah.
The Fugitive stars Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones, Celia Ward. I don't know how to pronounce this gentleman's name, so I'm just going to read it how it looks. Jerome Crabb.
I don't know.
He plays Charles Nichols.
Oh, yeah. He has some kind of weird accent that I
He's
didn't
Dutch.
recognize. Dutch, okay.
Yeah. Actually, funny story. This morning, I found... I looked up on Google how to pronounce his name, and it's Jeroen Krabbe.
And how did you say it?
Jeroen Crab.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I'm going to steal this joke from another podcast I listened to when I listened to one about this movie. Jeroen Crab sounds like he's one of those guys. If you collected basketball cards as a kid in like the mid 90s, and you bought a pack and like, oh, I got a Jordan, I got a David Robinson, and then you pull out a Jeroen Crab, who's like the backup power forward for like the Seattle Supersonics.
Man, that's a fucking throwback, the Supersonics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really miss that team. We also had Andreas Kasoulas, and Julianne Moore is in this too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's one of the doctors that's in the ER when he goes to Cook County Medical, I think.
Yeah, Cook County.
Looking for the one-arm. It's the one-armed man.
All right, we'll just save the best quotes because he does mention that at a time or two.
Fair enough.
Budgeted at $44 million. Huge hit. Made $368 million worldwide.
Damn, that's a lot of cheddar for back then.
Mm-hmm. Rotten Tomatoes score of 96%. I think that's the highest rated movie we've done so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Back to the Future might be close, might be in that neighborhood, but yeah, 96% is pretty high.
Especially for, I mean, this is more of like a drama, I would say, than an action movie, but it's still kind of action movie-ish.
Yeah, it's an action movie. This is a movie that actually wouldn't get made for a theatrical release anymore. This would be like one of those movies that like gets made into something that would air on Netflix, or it would be a TV show again.
Yeah.
And last but not least, this was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor, which Tommy Lee Jones won, rightfully so.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie did deserve some Oscar love because it's really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, totally. I don't know what was nominated that year. Damn, I'm starting to lose my voice. I don't know what was nominated that year, but, like, I mean, The Fugitive had to have been one of the 3 or 4 best movies of that year.
And it was 93.
Mm-hmm.
Was Jurassic Park 93 or was it 94?
Jurassic Park is 93.
So I'm wondering if that was was that up for an Oscar, do you know?
No, it was a Best Picture.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe that's just I just hold that movie in high regard, I guess.
Oh, well, it is a great movie, and that's one that's going to happen at some point. Oh, Schindler's List won Best Picture that year.
Oh, well, that's well deserved. Also, depressing as shit, but well deserved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me see what it was up against real quick. It was Schindler's List, The Fugitive, In the Name of the Father, The Piano, and Remains of the Day.
I've never even heard of like 3 of those.
Yeah, they don't really strike me as Lucas movies.
They probably aren't. If people aren't blowing the shit up out of each other or chasing down people that killed their wife, probably not watching it.
Yeah. It's like, fuck that stuff. I don't want to watch the Remains of the Day has Anthony Hopkins in it. That was like when he was making all those period movies.
Seriously, dude, it blows my fucking mind how you know all this shit. It really does.
Well, I used to work at a video store, so that's kind of comes with the territory. I think everybody that works at a video store just kind of has like this bucket of random knowledge.
Well, it's impressive, and I applaud you.
Well, you got to be good at something, right?
Oh, well, you're already good at the podcast. What the hell am I good at?
Oh, stop. Now, we both know that those Viagra emails that we get at the show website is addressed to you, so you got to be doing something right. All right. Well,
I laughed. I'm sorry. I don't know if you heard my laugh. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, well, I thought it was a little humorous, but
no, I laughed.
Fuck it, I'm just going to tuck that in a corner and maybe redo it at another time. But
my dog really wants to play with her toy right now, so I'm entertaining the dog and doing a podcast at the same time.
I think your dog is like a recurring character on the show.
I think so.
I think
she should get her own cast call out.
Yeah, this is like what, the 3rd or 4th episode in a row she's made an appearance on. Like,
she just really loves her dad, and she loves our podcast because she's awesome.
Well, tell her to write us a review on Apple.
As soon as I get her an iPhone, I will.
Okay. Well, just do it tomorrow. I'm sure there's some kind of deal somewhere.
I'm sure.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and head on over to the William Somerset Research Corner, which we established last episode, is in honor of Morgan Freeman's character in Seven, where he's researching the 7 deadly sins in the library.
And I still like the category name.
Yeah, that's how Lucas and I researched this movie, although before the show, somebody told me they didn't do any research on this.
Oh, man, what a piece of shit.
What
are they doing on a podcast talking about a movie if they didn't do any research?
What a butthole. Well, I guess I'll be
real brown eye.
I guess I'll be Morgan Freeman. You could be Brad Pitt.
Oh my God! Let me tell you my research.
All right. First off, Alec Baldwin. That Morgan Freeman was bad.
I'm sorry. I tried.
Well, work on it a little bit. I mean, this is going to be a recurring category, so you have time to harness it.
It's going to stay as bad, I'm sure, but I will give it a shot.
All right, well, maybe we'll try it next time. Well, I think we're going to test out the Vincent Hanna how do you rate this movie category, so I guess I'll be trotting out the old Al Pacino here soon.
Nice.
All right, Research Corner. Alec Baldwin was apparently cast as Richard Kimble, but eventually dropped out.
I can't see him as doing this role.
Now, some of the other actors considered were Kevin Costner, Mel Gibson, Andy Garcia, Nick Nolte, Richard Gere, Jeff Bridges. Yeah. Jeff Bridges, Michael Douglas, and Al Pacino were all considered for the role of Richard Kimble.
I didn't kill my fucking wife. That was really bad.
Who was that supposed to be?
I don't want to talk about it. Let's just move on.
Okay. When I was reading about this, Nick Nolte turned it down because he felt he was too old to play Richard Kimble. He's actually only 1 year older than Harrison Ford.
Huh.
Can you just imagine him? They're like, I didn't kill my wife. It's like, Jesus.
Oh, see, that was a good impression.
Like, damn, did you just smoke like 8 Winstons in 2 minutes? Samuel Gerard was offered to Jon Voight and Gene Hackman before they cast Tommy Lee Jones. Now, I can see, like, for the Richard Kimble role, I can see Costner playing Kimble, but I can't see any of those other guys. I actually believe if Michael Douglas or Alec Baldwin were cast, like, I would really be suspicious. Like, I would think they actually did kill their wife.
Yeah. Even with all the scenes showing you that he didn't.
Yeah, it's like Michael Douglas has something to do.
I don't believe this shit.
Like, I don't know, like, she set him off one day, and then, he got the one-armed man to do his bidding for him. And, like, maybe he'll learn next time, like, hey, maybe I should get a guy with 2 arms. And then Gene Hackman, I could see him as Gerard, but, like, he's a little older than Tommy Lee Jones. But, like, there's no way I'd see Jon Voight doing that.
Jon Voight would bore me to death. I don't know what it is about that guy. He just bores the shit out of me.
Well, when, like, I've looked at other movies for us to do, especially in this era, like, Jon Voight's name pops up in just about everything. Like he was an Enemy of the State. He's in this. Like, he's in Heat. Like, he's just in a bunch of stuff, and he's also, like, just considered to be in just about anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I'm losing my words here. He's a good actor, but he just, like, every time he's in a movie, it seems like he's acting the same exact thing to me.
So even as Bud Kilmer in Varsity Blues, he's a racist fucking prick in every movie he's in.
Yep.
Charles Nichols was actually Richard Jordan, who I'm trying to think of something you may have seen him in. Have you ever seen The Hunt for Red October?
Yeah.
He's in that. He was cast as Charles Nichols, but he had to drop out. He was diagnosed with cancer, so he was replaced.
Shit.
Yeah, he was replaced by Supersonics forward Jerome Crabb. Then
the low card that nobody fucking wants.
Yeah, he's Detlef Shrimp's backup. I guess Harrison Ford had, like, already cut his beard off, so they had to, when they brought in Mr. Cribby, like, I'm starting to sound like Chris Farley in Black Sheep, but when they brought him Rowads, they had to Harrison Ford had to grow his beard back, and it's different than it was earlier in the movie.
Huh.
And then I guess Richard Jordan died 3 months after this movie came out.
Oh.
It's unfortunate.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But anyways,
this shit got grim.
yeah, like, I was really hoping, like, in my notes, I would have wrote down something like something funny, like, oh yeah, the guys in the St. Patrick's Day parade didn't know it was Harrison Ford, which was true for a few minutes, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Really?
Well, I guess we'll just go. We've already gotten into it. Might as well do it now. Yeah, the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah.
Andrew Davis like sent Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford just out into that parade, and he filmed them with a handy cam. So like when like Harrison Ford has his head down, yeah, like I guess apparently like people didn't recognize him for like a good 15 minutes during that.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
and
I guess
he was just able to like walk out of the scene with nobody really hounding him.
Well, eventually they did, but like I guess it kind of works because there's a couple people that kind of spot him for a second, and it almost like, oh, I bet that's Richard Kimble.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool. I
That
guess
is really cool.
Andrew Davis actually was a Chicago native, and he actually wanted to film that St. Patrick's Day parade in the movie, so that's why they incorporated that into it.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, it's a really pivotal scene, and it's kind of cool how they filmed it during that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it kind of reminds me of this documentary I just watched. You know that guy that was convicted of killing somebody, and then his lawyer found him at a Dodger game, like found footage of him. They were filming. Oh, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah. This guy was at a Dodger game, and he got accused of murdering somebody that testified against his brother. And just like Curb Your Enthusiasm for HBO, just happened to be filming there, and it was on TV. And what is it, Larry David? Is that the name of the?
Yeah.
Just happened to walk past him, so they actually caught it on film that he was at the baseball game.
Wow.
Saved his life.
Damn. I'd send Larry David a fruit basket.
Penalty.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he got the death penalty, so he was on death row when he got, when they found the footage and he got out.
At the very least, I'd send Larry David an edible arrangement for that. It's like, hey, thanks, man. Thanks for having to get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah, like one of the $20 or $30 ones. He ain't getting the $50.
No. If I'm sitting, if it's either that or death row, like I'm buying him the most expensive one I can.
That's fair.
It's like, okay, the light bill's not getting paid this month, but Larry David saved my life.
That's going to be his claim to fame for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that during the epic car or the train wreck sequence, Harrison Ford injured his leg, and he tore ligaments in his leg, so he held off getting it operated on until after the movie was over because he wanted Richard Kimble to have a limp.
Now, I didn't know that until you told me earlier when we were at work, but that is still really cool. And actually, it kind of makes me wonder, like, does he like to do his own stunts or something?
Oh, yeah, Harrison Ford's notorious for doing his own stunts.
Okay, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. But that's actually really cool. I respect actors that do that stuff.
Oh, yeah,
really
like
cool.
Tom Cruise, like I don't give a fuck how crazy he is. The fact that guy will jump off of buildings and break his ankle, like, okay, you're good in my book. Or he climbs that building in
the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah. He just used some. He did that on his
building.
Yeah, he just did that on his own. Yeah, you're okay in my book.
Yeah, he is fucking crazy though.
I just wonder though, like how powerful the marijuana that Harrison Ford smokes is, because like he's wrecked a plane twice. He hurt his leg on the set of The Fugitive, and he shattered his ankle, I think, on the set of The Force Awakens. It still keeps going.
Oh shit! Yeah, he just. Well, he's like Willie Nelson. He's going to live forever.
I hope so. Because that would be a very sad day if something were to happen to him.
Yes. Either one of them.
Right. Did you know that Tommy Lee Jones ad-libbed a lot of his dialogue in this movie? Like some of the real funny one-liners he throws out, those are all off the top of his head.
I did not know that. Mm-hmm. But I guess that's part of what makes him a great actor.
This one I found to be a little weird that they thought about doing this. Julianne Moore and Jane Lynch, she's in this, which I completely forgot about till I watched it last night.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw her on there.
They were both considered to be romantic interests for Richard Kimble, but I guess like a lot of us, it didn't make a lot of sense since he was on a quest to find out who murdered his wife.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, it didn't make a lot of... Go ahead.
I was going to say, not everybody has to have a side bitch. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, Richard Kimble seems to be a stand-up gent. Damn, I don't know why I'm losing my voice. I feel like I'm going through puberty here.
Thank God.
Yeah, I will eventually grow up to be a man.
About damn time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife's thinking the same thing. This one I thought was like actually really, really cool. This movie started filming in February of '93 and lasted for 73 days. So they got this movie filmed. They went and did reshoots and got it edited in time to get it out on August the 6th of the same year.
Wow. That's impressive.
I guess Warner Brothers had 6 editors working on this film to get it done in time.
Huh.
And
I wonder why it was so delayed.
Well, this movie was in developmental hell for years. Like I know, like at one point, Alec Baldwin was supposed to be the star, and Walter Hill, he's the director of The Warriors and 48 Hours. He was supposed to direct this.
Yeah.
And then Nick Nolte was attached to it at one point. Yeah, it has just been sitting around for years trying to get developed, and then they finally got it off the ground once they had a director. Then they got Harrison Ford attached to it, and then. But I guess they wanted to move it up, and Warner needed a summer movie, like a late summer movie. So that's why they got it done so fast.
Well, it's still impressive. No matter how many people they had on it, that's still really impressive.
Actually, all 6 of the editors for this got Oscar nominations for this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is really... a really odd occurrence because usually an editor, when a movie gets nominated for editing, it's usually 1 or 2 people, but 6 got nominated for this. They didn't win, but still kind of a cool little tidbit.
Yeah. We're going to nominate all 6 of them and tell them to go fuck themselves because they ain't winning.
You know what, though? Honestly, though, you get a free trip to Hollywood. You probably get a really good meal. Like, I wouldn't be too upset if I lost.
Well, plus... from that point on, you're a big deal because you were attached to a movie that was nominated for an Oscar.
And you got an Oscar nomination for that, yeah. So, like, you can always put that on a resume.
True.
It's like those guys might be applying for a job in an IT department, and they have, like, the accomplishments. Like, I was a nominated editor on The Fugitive.
How does that qualify you, sir?
You know what? I don't give a fuck what he's doing.
If
I was hiring somebody and I seen it like, oh, hey, guess what? I did the makeup on Maleficent and I got nominated for an Academy Award. I'm going to fucking hire that person.
Yeah, because you never know. They might take you right to the top.
Yeah. Or if not,
no matter
like
what you're doing.
If anything, it's like, you come home for dinner like, hey, honey, how was your day? Like, it wasn't too bad. I hired the makeup artist for Maleficent to fill that IT spot. When Bob left? Yeah, I hired the dude that did the makeup on Maleficent to do it.
He's never touched a computer in his life, but shit, he's going to be good.
And he did the makeup in Maleficent. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with that movie on this, but...
I don't know. Yeah, you just kept going with it. I was just going to let you keep going.
Well, I think when I was going through my my digital movie collection earlier, I had to stop and I left it on that. And like when I come back to it, it was that picture of Angelina Jolie with the horns and shit.
It was pretty good makeup.
Have you ever seen the show Scrubs?
Yeah.
The janitor? Mm-hmm. Who's like, I'd say outside of, I don't know, I'm really a fan of Bob Kelso. The old, like, administrator, and then Dr. Cox. Probably my favorite character on that show.
He's in this, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the transit cop that when Sykes and Kimble, like when Kimble gets spotted on the subway.
Yeah.
He's the cop.
That's right. Yeah.
And a funny thing, there's an episode of Scrubs where JD, who's played by Zach Braff, is watching The Fugitive, and he sees Neil Flynn, that's the actor's name, in the movie.
Uh-huh.
And like they do this whole bit where Neil Flynn, the janitor, was a former actor, and he was like the janitor played the cop in The Fugitive.
So he was the character of a character of a character.
Yeah, it went meta as fucking that.
Breaking down the fourth wall. Shit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a cool little tidbit to end this category on.
Russ, you did an outstanding job on the research.
Thank you. If I had loaded it into my equipment, I would have given myself a round of applause. But
Well,
since
we'll
I
pretend that we can all hear it.
I just hear it in my head. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. The next category is the whoa, wait a minute, I got to stop and watch this. The best scene of the movie. This is the scene where if you're in the middle of something, you happen to flip it on TV, it doesn't matter where you have to be, you're going to stop and watch this scene. I have my nominees. Feel free to throw yours in, Lucas. I'm sure we. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could think of two where you see them and it's instantly like watch this.
Yeah. I put the train wreck.
Yep, that's one of them.
I have Samuel Gerard's first appearance in the movie. Where Kimble jumps off the dam.
Yep, that was going to be my other one.
I put the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Yep. And
I put when Richard Kimble calls Gerard from Sykes' apartment.
Oh, yeah, that's so well acted, too.
Mm-hmm. For me, I'm going to go with the train wreck sequence. That's just like whenever you think of this movie, that's usually the first thing that comes to mind.
Yep. I mean, I can't even argue with that. That's because every time you've seen any kind of advertisement for it, when it plays on network TV or cable TV, whatever, that they always show that without fail.
Yeah. Actually, this is kind of going back into the William Somerset Research Corner. This actually was filmed on a green screen, like Harrison Ford jumping off of this, off the train. But actually, the train wreck was a real deal. It cost like $1 million.
Oh wow!
And did you know that this is a tourist attraction in Dillsboro, North Carolina?
No, I did not. But wait, what is the train wreck?
Yep. Yeah, The train wreck is still there, and that's a tourist attraction now.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So if you're ever in the North Carolina area,
well, I'm gonna have to be now because I want to go see it.
Yeah. So I mean, is that the one that you think too is the train wreck sequence?
Yeah, I think that's the most iconic of the scenes.
Yeah, although like where he jumps off the dam is pretty fucking cool though.
Yeah, just to nerd out a little bit, he would have fucking died in that no matter what.
Oh yeah, he's not surviving that.
He would have either broken all his bones or he would have gotten drowned by the dam.
Oh, I was listening to that Fugitive podcast I was listening to, and they brought up the fact that somebody made 6 dummies to stand in for Harrison Ford in that train sequence, and they lost all 6 of them, and they only did that sequence once. So I'd like to know where those other 5 Harrison Ford dummies are at.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because truth be told, I would buy one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Whenever you can't do the episode, I can sit it right here next to me, and I can talk to Richard Kimble, like a dummy Richard Kimble.
Well,
I can interview him like, how did you feel when those cops were like, you're breaking down in that interrogation room, and like they were just harassing you with questions.
Now, are you going to also answer as him?
Well, yeah, why wouldn't I?
I don't know. It's getting a little weird, though.
Well, you know what? We're in the middle of a pandemic. Shit's going to get weird.
You know what? That is a fair point. Can't argue that.
Okay. Now, our favorite line of the movie. I don't think... Do we have a name for this yet? Like this category?
I don't think so.
I know I tossed around the John McClane quote of the movie, but like I don't know. Like I don't like that now.
We'll have to come up with something, or maybe somebody can email us, or send us a suggestion on our socials.
Yeah, I was gonna say if someone emails us, it's simply gonna be like, this is gonna be the Viagra quote of the movie, because that's all I fucking get in that email account. It's fucking Viagra ads. Stop it.
Are they trying to tell you something?
I don't know what they're trying to tell me, but I know I don't have erectile dysfunction.
Maybe you will. Maybe they're just trying to load you up.
Maybe they're planning ahead.
Pills.
Maybe they're planning ahead. Like, hey, he's going to need this down the road. I mean, he does a podcast, for crying out loud. He can't be that great. All right. Well, the best quote of the movie. I have some nominees here. I'll see if what you think. This one is going to be the first one. All right, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Our fugitive has been on the run for 90 minutes. Average foot speed over uneven ground, barring injuries, is 4 miles per hour. That gives us a radius of 6 miles. What I want from each and every one of you is a hard target search of every gas station, residence, warehouse, farmhouse, henhouse, outhouse, and doghouse in that area. Checkpoints go up at 15 miles. Your fugitive's name is Dr. Richard Kimble. Go get him.
Damn, you made me want to watch you in this movie.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but before the pandemic, I did a little Tommy Lee Jones one-man show at the local community rec center.
I'm learning some new shit tonight.
On Thursday nights, I would act out Tommy Lee Jones scenes at a rec center. You should have seen me like right before this stuff started. I did Tommy Lee Jones and Natural Born Killers. The 6 people that were there just fucking loved it.
Whole 6?
Yeah, I got 6 people there. I think it was because it was they were giving out free pizza.
That's fair. I mean, you can't turn that shit down.
Right. I also nominated I Didn't Kill My Wife from Richard Kimble with the I Don't Care from Samuel Gerard.
Yep.
I would say, like when I said earlier, like the best quote, like there's really only 2, but I threw a couple in here just for shits and giggles because I like them.
Okay.
Hey, Newman, what are you doing? Newman says, I'm thinking. Well, why don't you think me up a cup of coffee and a chocolate donut with the little sprinkles on top while you're thinking?
That actually sounds really good right now. It's 10:30 at night. That's a terrible idea, but it sounds really good.
Yeah, it does. Marshal Biggs, when they're at they're going into the courthouse, he says, if they can dye the river green today, why can't they dye it blue the other 364 days?
Tommy Lee Jones' character.
Well, he doesn't say it. It's the marshal with the mustache.
No. He Tommy Lee Jones goes, I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah. And then the last one is when they go into to catch Copeland, and Copeland has Newman by the throat, and he's going to shoot him, and then Tommy Lee Jones like comes around the side, shoots him in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Copeland's girlfriend's just screaming her fucking head off, and he just looks at her and goes, "Shut up." I don't know why. Like every time I see that, just like I fucking love it.
I cracked up when I watched that. That was pretty funny.
I think for me, it's your fugitive name is Dr. Richard Kimble. Like that's another iconic line. Like whenever you think of this movie, I think that one actually is more iconic than the train wreck sequence?
Well, I don't know, because I'm sure people have seen a preview of the train wreck sequence, but wouldn't know his name is Dr. Richard Kimble.
Well, in the trailer, they always played that line.
Oh.
Every trailer they had, they always played that line in it.
I was gonna say the "I didn't kill my wife, I don't care" line.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Because I mean, like realistically, like Tommy Lee Jones' character, like wouldn't care like if he killed his wife or not. He's just there to bring him in.
Right.
Oh, another one. This isn't my winner is going to be my name is Richard Kimble, or the fugitive's name is Richard Kimble. But I also like when Tommy Lee Jones says he did a Peter Pan off this. So much good stuff. The last category is who owns this movie. This is the category that you can take anybody out of this movie except for this one person. Like they're the biggest reason why this movie works. For me, it's only one person. It has to be Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. Although, man, who do you get to play Kimble? And
well, I mean, you can honestly.
You're saying like you would keep Tommy Lee Jones, right?
Yeah, I mean, like basically, like Tommy Lee Jones is the reason why this movie is as good as it is. Because I mean, if you really stop and think about it, like Tommy Lee Jones does most of the heavy lifting acting wise. Like he's the one with the most dialogue between the two leads. Like Harrison Ford's doing a lot of like facial acting and like the stunt work, but like Tommy Lee Jones is carrying the dialogue portion of this. And like, can you think of like a scene in this movie where Tommy Lee Jones is bad?
Nope.
And I mean, to me, like, it seems like as much as I like this movie, there's parts of this movie that drag. I think it's especially like when he's doing the investigative stuff, like when he is doing like he's printing off the list of names, and he's like when he becomes like the janitor at the hospital, and the investigative stuff is like it's okay, but not compared to what we had seen before, like leading up to that. But I mean, I think Tommy Lee Jones, this movie is nowhere nearly as good as it is without him in it. Like, I think you could cast someone else as Richard Kimble, and I think it still kind of works. But no Tommy Lee Jones, this movie doesn't work.
Well, you have convinced me now.
All right. If I had a gavel, I'd slam it down. I mean, you don't. No.
I can't think of anybody else that you. Like Tommy, you're right. Tommy Lee Jones really drives this movie. He drives like the funny lines and he makes you believe that he's actually, chasing down Richard Kimble.
Right. And I mean, like he like some of the stuff that he says, like he kind of takes, like when it starts getting a little heavy, like he kind of is able to lighten the mood up a little bit. At least I think so. I think he's fucking hysterical in this.
I do too.
But yeah, like that's who wins it for me. Like I love Harrison Ford. He's probably if I had an acting Mount Rushmore of like the guys that I absolutely love and will watch just about anything, Harrison Ford is on that Mount Rushmore. But like, no, this is Tommy Lee Jones's movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he even got a sequel out of it with his character, which I'm not going to get into U.S. Marshals.
Oh, that's the sequel to this?
Yeah, he plays Sam Gerard. They bring back Joe Pantoliano. They bring back Newman, Biggs, and I can't think of the woman's name, but she's in this too. And it has Robert Downey Jr., who seems to be more preoccupied with getting like fucked up than he is the performance in the movie. And Wesley Snipes is the fugitive.
Huh.
Now, I will say that I don't think U.S. Marshals works because it goes from being a doctor on the run trying to figure out who killed his wife. Wesley Snipes plays a Navy SEAL. So already it's like, okay, you already know like the U.S. Marshals are at a disadvantage now.
Right.
Oh. All right. Well, before we wrap this up, Lucas, do you have anything you want to add?
No. I mean, this movie is definitely I would say probably in my top 20 at least.
Yeah,
all time.
this movie is really good. Like, I know this movie is good because my mom has a collection of go-to movies, maybe 6 or 7. Like, these are the only movies she watches, and it's Home Alone. I think I went over this in a previous episode. I'm not sure, but Home Alone, the 50 Shades of Grey movies, but The Fugitive is also in this list, and like, if it's on, my mom watches it no matter what point of the movie it's at. And my mom doesn't watch a lot of movies. Like I said, she watches the same 6 or 7, but she's not like, oh, hey, you know what sounds good? I'm going to watch The Shawshank Redemption. She's never even seen that movie. But The Fugitive, fuck yes.
Considering you're like the human IMDb, it's really surprising your mom's on it more in the movies.
Nope. Like, my mom watches 6 or 7 of them, and that's it. It's really that odd mix. It's The Fugitive, the 50 Shades of Grey movies, Home Alone, Batman, but it's only the Batman movies with the Joker in it. It's the 89 Batman and the Dark Knight. She has nothing to do with any other Batman movie.
Huh. That's interesting.
I think Kindergarten Cop was on that list too, and Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, I mean, at least she's got a pretty good list.
Yeah, like my mom will die on a hill for Mrs. Doubtfire. She fucking loves that movie.
Good movie.
It is.
Robin Williams at his best, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like I could, if I stopped and thought about it, I could probably think of something that I would like him better in, but like I can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Maybe Good Will Hunting.
That is a great movie.
He won an Oscar for that too.
I guess that puts you in a little bit of a upper echelon over
Right.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Just a bit.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up The Fugitive. Did we decide what we're doing next, or do you want to save that for later? Well, this isn't going to come out for like another week yet, but have we decided what we're going to do next?
Yes, actually we have.
Do you want to fill everybody in?
We are going to do Twister.
Yes.
Bum, bum, bum.
Looking forward to that one. I haven't sat and watched Twister in a long time, and I fucking love that movie.
I haven't either, but every time I think of that movie now, I think of Helen Hunt, the puppet from Team America.
Well, we'll save the Helen Hunt puppet impression for that episode, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, well, if you guys like what you heard, please give us a follow on our social media pages, the Couch Brotato Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast. Yeah, give us a review if you like what you hear. But until next time, we will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.